Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'll begin by acknowledging that we're in Treaty 1 territory in the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Ron Merritt. I'll be your chairperson this morning. Introducing the panel members is Susan Gifford to my left, and to her left is Marcel Labrando. Our recording secretary is Katie Sutherland, and the assessor this morning is Mr. Rob Lucky. We'll be hearing an application for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we'll limit those discussions to those matters. The statements that the applicant or the assessor make are sworn testimony, and anybody speaking in this matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by City Council and is dependent of it, and along with the City Administration. We make our decisions based on the evidence provided at the hearing and issue a written order, and will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision in respect to application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board. The matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to application for exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included in the board's order. In respect to the process this morning, we will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant. Following the swearing in, we'll then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the other applicant may have, and it'll be the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each party will have the opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application is brought forward, the applicant may leave, and the process will repeat for each item on the docket this morning. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make our decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. I'll ask our secretary to swear in Mr. Lucky and to swear in Mr. DuPont.
Please state your name.
Robert L. Lucky.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So that's all.
Henry DuPont.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
We'll be following the docket. So the first item on the docket is number 400 Osborne Street. So Mr. Lucky, you can take us through this property.
Sure. 400 Osborne is roll number 12020007200. And what we have here is a 7-story masonry building, high-rise, built in 1996. There's 53 suites and 56 outdoor parking. This property is it's along the it's got quite a bit of river frontage. It's on Osborne at about across from the transit station. Excuse me. And on page 3, we've done an income approach. These are, there's 53 two-bedroom units. And it should be noted that this is I believe it's a life lease. And the people have made a significant investment to the for their suite, and then on top of that they pay a fee, which is a combination of the remainder of the equity and the common area costs. So this isn't market rent because of the significant costs that the people have to pay to get in. So we've used market rent. Our market rent is effective gross income of $816,564. These 2 bedrooms, the overall monthly is $1,307, and I should mention that includes everything, like rent, parking, laundry, any costs. So it's not just the rent. Total income divided by the number of 2-bedroom suites. And due to the age of this building, it still qualified for school tax exemption. So our model expenses are $379,866. This is a newer masonry high-rise building. Our cap rate for this building is 5%. And I would ask that you maintain the value of $8,734,000. Last go around, the assessment was $7,740,000 for 18, and that was maintained at the Board of Education. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer, or try and answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Lucky. Mr. Bond?
Yes, your page 1, bottom left, it says indoor parking 0. So you would agree with that? It has no indoor parking?
No, it looks like they have surface and garage parking.
Yeah, garage, where would that be?
Or carport, some sort of private parking. And surface.
Now, this property, you said it's in front of the transit on Osborne. So would you agree that location is a superior location?
No, it's a great location. I've been there. I've been along the walking paths along the river, and it's a convenient location.
Well, would you agree that the apartment block in front of the Grant Shopping Center is a better location?
Well, I prefer to live here, but I mean, it's me.
Page 4, your comparables.
Right.
Now, 130 Strauss is a 2-story apartment. You show, on top says 1 to 2 stories. And the subject is a 7 stories or mid-rise, high-rise. Would you agree that 130 Strauss is not a very good comparable?
Different. Some people want to be higher up, some don't.
The next comparable, 15 Carlton, that's downtown, near Assiniboine. Would you agree that the downtown location would be a better location?
No, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a better location. Again, the subject's on the river, Carlton's not. There's walking paths behind the subject along the river. They have gardens. No, I think it's a great location for the subject.
Aside from being on the river, would you agree that downtown is a better location than South Osborne?
Some people would prefer to be downtown, and some people would prefer to be on Osborne.
Next comparable, 1099 Grant. Now you show 1964-1984, so has an effective age, 20 years more than what it was.
It's been renovated, so we changed the effective age from 64 to 84, right?
So would you agree that the renovated property would be superior to the subject property which is not renovated?
Well, the subject's still quite a bit newer, so it's a different, it's all 2 bedrooms, there's balconies overlooking the river.
And the last comparable, 605 River, has that been renovated?
I'm not sure.
That property is right at Wellington Crescent on the river, so would you agree it's a better location than the subject?
It's at the start of Wellington Crescent on the river, yes. Some suites would overlook the river, some wouldn't.
Now, the rents that you have, 1307 per suite, to me that's on the high side. Is there any reason why this property should be on the high side? Is there particular features that make it more valuable?
Well, they're all 2-bedroom, modern apartments built in 1996. Obviously, like I said, the people are putting down a lot of money. The group hasn't told us how much, but typically $100,000. So.
You don't know what the entrance fee is?
No, it hasn't been reported to us, no.
So it could be 40,000, 50,000, you don't know?
Could be 200,000, I don't know. Do you have the numbers, the actual numbers?
No, I'm just saying.
So you don't have?
You put out a figure 100,000, but you have absolutely nothing.
Could be
to support
200,
that,
could be
right?
40, I don't know, but they put down a lot of money. And that should be taken into consideration. Their common area fee and a token amount for the remaining of their equity doesn't reflect market rent. That's what we're trying to reflect, market rent.
Now, would you agree that your rent of 1307 is higher than the CMHC averages?
Well, it's not an average building. Like if you look at page 15 of my report, a 1-bedroom next door condo is renting for $1,250 and it's 688 square feet. So I don't think we're way out of line with 1,300. If next door a 1-bedroom is renting for $1,250.
That's a condo. So would you agree the condo is not same type of finish as there is for
Some
nonprofit property?
condos are better, some are worse. But this is right next door. It's a 1-bedroom, 688 square feet, and it's renting for $1,250.
And when's that at?
I don't know, it's an older ad, I don't have the date on it. But even if you factored that back, if it was a year or two, it wouldn't change it much. The subject suites are considerably larger than a 688 square foot 1-bedroom. These are all 2 bedrooms.
Now, that particular ad on your last page, I don't see the figure 1250 anywhere. Is it something that you wrote in?
The rent was stated as $1,250.
But it's not in this ad itself, is that correct?
Well, I didn't make it up, if that's what you're implying.
That's all questions I have.
I thank you. Ms. Gifford?
No questions.
Mr. Laurando?
So I have one question. You stated it was school exempt because of age of building. What's that?
Not because of the age, because it's seniors. The seniors' life lease buildings were school tax exempt, irregardless of suite size, up until
1997, I believe.
I was going to say right about here. So the year after this, they weren't school tax exempt, because these suites would be too big. They had to be, in '97, they changed the suite sizes to be school tax exempt. They had to be modest size suites.
Which is 900 square feet, 800 square feet? What did they change it to?
I don't have the sheet here, but it's, they're modest sizes. I want to say a two-bedroom would be under 900 square feet, I think.
So these buildings were grandfathered then?
All the buildings that were built prior to '97 were grandfathered. I was actually involved with Manitoba Housing when they drew up the legislation. The school tax exemption was intended for modest seniors, and they were building these aren't, but other ones were 1,300 square foot deluxe suites, and they said that wasn't the purpose of the school tax exemption. But they said everybody that got it can keep it, but the buildings built after had to meet a maximum suite size.
Okay.
Anyway, this one qualifies and I have to stay with the school tax exemption.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you.
If I can only remember it.
Mr. Lucky, so that we get life leases correct, I know a little bit about life leases. I've heard plenty of presentations, but basically, under a life lease, you don't pay market rent. It is, their rents are calculated on the mortgage payment that the organization or base. The rents aren't market rents. They are, I would say, like a PIT, principal interest.
It's very,
principal interest and taxes.
yeah, it's very close to
Okay.
a condo.
Yeah.
Very similar.
So,
The difference is you don't get the title.
yeah, yeah.
That's
And
the
you,
only
you don't get
difference.
any interest on your money.
They're all different.
Okay.
That's part of the problem.
So-
Every one of these things.
So
has a
how do you
different-
go about placing a value on the subject property in regards to what they pay and what do you think market should be, like market rents? So
Well,
how do
that's-
you determine that?
Well, we use, these aren't the ones that we use to determine the rent, but these are examples.
Mhm.
So,
So,
we deem market rent as just that. And, sometimes it's not far off the actual. For the projects that are, only putting down a smaller amount, then it's not far off. But it's also, it's a nonprofit group.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
there is not a typical rental apartment.
well, like you say, the individuals have investments in here and they could be
Yeah.
substantial.
I've seen
Depends. Yeah.
some projects as high as $350,000 and
Yeah.
then $1,200-1,300 rent on top of that. And so other ones, like as Mr. DeMont said, they're putting down $40,000
Yeah,
or
it
whatever.
varies, it varies.
And the rent isn't
Yeah.
far off.
Yeah. So on your comparable rents here, are any of these life leases or are they?
No, these are all typical Martell
Okay.
apartments.
Okay, I thank you then. Mr. DuPont, the floor is yours.
Can I redirect based on your question?
Certainly.
When we went to municipal board on life leases last year, would you agree that we've established that the market rent should be the actual rents paid plus any discount they receive from a secondary fund? That's how we settled for Douglas Place for 2010, 2012, and all other life leases that came up.
Well, I agree, it should be market rent. There should be a consideration for the cost of the money people put down, and that difference should be at about market rent.
Would you agree that the municipal board disagreed that you should add a value to the entrance fees to the rent?
Well, again, because all these projects have different entrance fees. some of them sell their unit on MLS. They're all different. All we can do is use market.
Now, we
And
settled,
we're supposed to look at market rent.
but we did settle.
Oh,
Uh,
I agreed that we could use Class Code 20 taxes as long as market rent is used.
That's all questions.
The floor is yours, Mr. DuPont.
I have rebuttal to start with.
Certainly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
First page, got a photo, 130 Strauss, two-story multi-building in St. James. Not comparable. It has $255 in discounts, of which you'll see on the next page, and you see at the bottom of the page, that's multi-building complex. Totally different than the subject. And the next page shows where it is, it's in St. James, between Sturgeon and Morey. Page 3 is the revenue and expense sheet that we provided to the board for this property. If you can see line 2, discounts, $398, $427, $470. So the rent that they had, potential gross rent was $1,260, but they had $255 in discounts, so they were getting $1,005. And the assessor shows that as $1,260. So the assessor reported rents before discount, and it should be after discount. So this $1,260 should in fact be $1,005. Page 4 is photo of 15 Carlton, downtown, indoor parking, utilities included. You can see the map at the bottom of page 4. Page 5 is the web page on that. It says located downtown, and then page 6 says all utilities included. And the line says indoor, outdoor parking available. 86 indoor, 18 outdoor, the indoor pool. So I believe this property is superior to the subject. Page 7, 1099 grant. Renovated in 2011. Effective date, age changed from 64 to 84. Superior location, front of Grant Park Shopping Center. At the bottom of the page, you'll see where it is. You'll see the Grant Park right across. So it's a very popular spot for seniors to go there, and they walk to the Grant Park Mall. Page 8, 605 River. So it's on the river, and you'll see it where Wellington Crescent starts and river ends. And this one has 61 indoor parking, 55 outdoor. I believe all of their comparables are superior to the subject. So our report, you see page 1 is the photo of the property. Page 2 is the aerial photo, shows where it is. And there is 2 garages there on the top end on the north side of the building. Page 3 shows the map. So it shows it is in front of Winnipeg Transit, Fort Rouge Garage. There's not much along Osborne there. It's not as good as Osborne Village or Wellington Crescent or downtown. So I believe that the location is inferior to many other properties the same age. Page 6. We use a CMHC rents, and see page 24, 25, we had CMHC. And the 2 bedrooms for Fort Rouge, on average, is 1205. For buildings built 75 to 1989 is 1080. 50 to 99th Street is 1181. So the average of all 3 factors is 1155. Times 53 suites is 734, 792. That's what we use for market rents. And our cap rate. It says we're using 6%. No, I have since changed my cap rate. So where you see the tables in 1975, 1997, I have the age now 1980 to 1997, and I have that as 5 3/4. So I'm changing my cap rate today to 5 3/4.
Sorry, where's the chart?
Page 6.
So you have a different value?
Yes, I'll calculate that. So
Okay.
the cutoff has been 1975 for years, and I've always disliked that cutoff because cutoff can become properties built in the mid-70s. There's a bunch of properties built in the mid-70s. 75 looks like a 74, looks like a 79, so they're all pretty much the same. So I thought that it would be better to get a cutoff further up. So I went to 1980. I have cap rate comparables. I go up to 1974. So I believe that properties built 75 to 79 are similar to my 1974 cap rates. So then I would agree that we should move about 1/4%. The assessor was moving 0.3% for the next age category, so I would make that 5.75. So now I need a calculator to calculate my new value.
Oh, 5,722. 5,722. You might want to check it though, Henry, but I'll check it for you.
That's what it is.
Is that correct?
Which page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which page are you doing that on?
Page 7. So I agree with Ron's calculations. If you take the NOI of 329,023 divided by 5.75, the revised value is 5,722,000.
Okay.
Okay, so top of page 7, line 8, actual rent received 729. We start with the CMHC rent 734, 792. We use a 1.8% vacancy. The assessor has. We add the parking and the miscellaneous, which is a small amount. Now the assessor is at 1307 rent, which I believe is extremely high rent. Not many properties are that high. So for the expenses, insurance, we went for the actual 2017. The management fees normal 5%. We went professional fees a lower year, 12,875. The office, we went to your average. Advertising, we went to your average. Utilities, we went the 2017 as we normally do. Waste and snow, we went the 3-year average. Security, we went with the 2017, which is lower than the 3-year average. Repair and maintenance, we went the 5-year average, which is 1311. And then line 29, we added the reserve expenditures. We took the 5-year average, which is 561, so total R&M is 1872. And we calculated the taxes at CC20. Tax calculations are at the bottom, and the assessor and I had agreed to the market taxes at the municipal board. So I'd like to go to the appendix, page 11. It's on top where it says March 2018, so that's year end, 729,742. That's what we have on our spreadsheet, line 8. Then he shows the items we put as repair maintenance, so the equipment is repair and maintenance. We show what was caretaker. Maintenance, right in the middle, it says 66,706, and they have a schedule, so we have a schedule following the next page that gives you a breakdown of what repair and maintenance. It shows that we disallowed amortization, 158, and we disallowed interest on long-term debt. Now, if you look, the expenses, including long-term debt and amortization, is 500,000, and so their net income, 750 minus the expenses is, well, the total, I guess, is 75. Anyways, excessive revenue over expenses from operation, 24,919. Therefore, the total expense is 725. So therefore, they refunded 24,919 to the tenants. So that's how it's done. So it's based on the cost to operate, the full cost to operate, including amortization and interest on long-term debt. So page 12, that's the maintenance schedule, where they had the 66,706, it gives you a breakdown. For 2017, we allowed only 10% of the electrical system when we add that in our spreadsheet. Page 13 is the replacement reserve fund, and it shows what they allocated. They allocated 60,000 for March 2018, but that's not what we use. We use what they actually spent. So we allowed the appliances and counters, etc. We disallowed mechanical drawings, 17,444, and we disallowed parking lot 12,542. And we put the rest on the reserve, our line 29. Then page 14, the other years, 2016, 2015, we went through the same exercise. Page 15 is the maintenance schedule. We did not disallow any items there. Page 16 is the reserve. And we allowed only 25% of the plumbing, heating, cooling. So that is a valid expense. However, if you have a very large amount, it may not be non-recurring. So we applied a percentage to that. Page 18 is the 2015-14 maintenance expenses. We did not disallow anything. Page 19 for the reserves, we allowed only 25% of the plumbing, heating. Again, that's 16,000, we like 25%. So that's the source for all of our data. And if you have really high rents, 1155, you should go with the site-specific maintenance. They're getting 729,000 only because they're spending that amount in required maintenance, reserves, etc. And it would be unfair to disallow part of that. So that our site-specific repair maintenance over 5 years, 1872, after removing many items that were deemed to be non-recurring or capital expenditures. That's my report.
I thank you. Mr. Lucky, questions?
I have this rebuttal.
Okay.
If you need more for file, it's all, they're all the same.
Okay.
Last time I ended up giving Bellen more. So this time it's
This time we love to choose.
What's
Oh,
the-
yeah, I have a cap rate report to present. That's
we
a
have-
rebuttal on my cap rate.
Right.
Right here?
This is
Yeah, we
for
have cap rate.
all.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
cap rate study?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you need, if not, I'll take them back.
Okay. You know what, I'll take this one, I'll give you.
It's the same for every property.
I'll give you them
I'd like to go through the cap rate study to
Yep.
introduce it quickly.
Yep.
So the cap rate study, on page 3. It shows my comparables. Now the comparables, it's 437, 1966, and 277 Langside, 1974. So far right, when we see average cap rate, where it says 1964 to 76, that's wrong, it's 1966 to 74.
19 what?
66 to 1974.
So,
Those 5 sales average 6.15.
sir, I don't know what page you're on.
Page 1.
Page one?
Page 3.
Page 3.
Oh,
Page 3, okay. We'll move on.
And what should we change?
Far right, the last column, which says average cap rate for 1964-76, should be 1966 to 74. And then we have 3 cap rates on newer properties, 333 Ward, Beach and Southview, 2006 to 2014. So we have no cap rate comparables between 74 and 2006. But we do have a lot of properties, 3 properties in the mid-70s. And I believe those cap rates should be applied to properties up to 1979. So now, today, I've changed my cap rate where it says 1975 to 97 at the bottom. It's 1980 to 1997. And it's 5 3/4. And therefore, that's the rate I applied today. Now, if you want to quickly go page 6, the cap rate on 210 St. Mary's, it says at the bottom, revised to add 2015-2016 questionnaire and the assessor rebuttal. So I revised all my cap rate because the assessor gave a bunch of rebuttal data, and I incorporated all their rebuttal data. And the cap rates are virtually unchanged. The average I had before was 5.92 and it's now 5.91. But nevertheless, I now have all the financial statements that I had missing or extra that the assessor had provided. And that's my cap rate.
Okay. Mr. Lucky, you have rebuttal.
Okay, page, first page is comparing your repair and maintenance for your cap rate sales to the properties under appeal today. So your repair and maintenance averages 629. And for your comparable sales, your repair and maintenance averages $1,352. I guess the question is, are you treating your cap rate sales the same as your properties under appeal?
The question is, yes, I go site specific in my cap rates and I go site specific in the properties under appeals, and that's the key. I certainly don't use 600 repair and maintenance for other properties to be applied to subject properties. So that doesn't make any sense. Nor would it make sense to use 1352 repair and maintenance and apply it to the cap rates. Every property should be site specific.
So with lower repair and maintenance, that would affect your cap rates to make your cap rates higher?
If I change my my repair and maintenance for either the sales or the subject, it would change the cap rate.
Right.
Well, no, would not change the cap rate on property as I'm valuing, but it would change the value.
But if you were consistent with your properties under appeal and used something closer to what you're using on them, wouldn't your cap rates be a lot lower?
If I use different repair maintenance, it would change either up or down. By not, I'm going site specific.
Well, your cap rate sale number one, you're using $332 repair and maintenance. How could that be lower? Like would a typical buyer budget $300 R&M?
Well, I have, when they're actually low, when I come here, 333 Ward, my cap rate, I do have 1,072, that's what it was.
Right.
And the properties are low, it's either because they've been renovated or they need renovations, so every property is different.
So it's just a coincidence that the cap rate sale R&M is low and all the properties under appeal are 2 to 3 times higher?
Well, it's not coincident, I have the financial statements in my cap rate study, if you recall, it's about 100 pages. I have all the supporting documents and I go site specific.
So then on, I call it page 2 of the rebuttal, 718 Beach, the purchaser reported to us 4.5 as the cap rate. Isn't it more important how the purchaser sees the cap rate than how you stabilize it?
I've never used that, I believe the assessor has never used that. When we go to municipal board, we do site specific, we use cap rate comparables. We may show what an owner said in the questionnaires, what they thought they bought their property at, but in the end, you do a site specific analysis to get the cap rate. What an owner says, it's.
So then again, 210 St. Mary's on page 3, it doesn't matter that the purchaser told us that the cap rate was 5.5.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You can come out as many questionnaires you want, that I will not change my cap rate by 1 bit on that evidence.
Okay, that's on the cap rates, and then I guess questions now are on
I just see, Ms. Gifford, do you have any questions in regards to the rebuttal information?
No, I don't.
Mr. Rondo?
On the rebuttal?
Yep. Okay.
We haven't heard a question over there yet.
I'm sorry?
He has a question, Henry.
Yes, okay. Mr. Lucky,
okay,
did you?
so the questions would be now on the brief, because it kind of threw the cap rate study in there.
Yep.
Good, okay,
Oh, okay, questions in regards to the brief?
right, District of Ponds.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, we got sidetracked there.
Squirrel.
Sure.
So page 2 of your brief shows the site, shows the walking path, and then the property actually goes behind the other ones. And then these two are they garages or carports or?
I'm not sure, but it appears some kind of parking, covered
Right.
parking anyways.
And then these are, it's gardens for the, I was gonna call them tenants, I don't know if they're tenants or owners or whatever they are.
Tenants, yeah.
Is that typical that they would have, you know, these other apartments that are supposedly so much better? Do they have all this yard and paths on the river and areas where they can garden?
It has a path along the river, which is a positive feature, but being in front of the transit garage is not as good as being downtown or on Wall
Right.
Crescent or
So-
in front of shopping,
So
Grand
your-
Park Shopping Center.
Your comparables that have underground parking, wouldn't they pay additional for that on top of the rent?
Likely, but it would make it more desirable for a lot of people to have indoor parking.
Right, but that would be
So
additional.
Give you a choice between one without indoor parking, one with, it would take the one that has indoor parking, it's a feature.
But you would pay extra for indoor parking.
nevertheless, it's a feature. And you would pay extra for having a garage. You would pay extra for all the features. Every property has features, you get money for that.
Right.
But when you compare, it's a feature versus another one that does not have a feature.
Okay.
Indoor parking to be valuable does not need to be free.
I was just saying I would add to the rent. Page 7. So, your line item 13, effective gross income. The actual collected is 750,000. Does that, and you're lower than that, you're lower than the actual?
Yeah, I'm going with the CMHC, taking a vacancy off. So the difference, if I added back the vacancy, would be some 55 versus some 50. So I had to get the market rent somehow, and I got it this way.
This 750,000 that they collect as rent, is there any allowances or for the amount of the participation fee that the tenants have to pay to get in there? Is there any allowance for that?
I'm not sure what you mean by allowance.
Well, the tenants overall are paying $750,000 a year to live there. And then on top of that, to get in, they had to pay some amount that we don't know. So the some amount that we don't know, have you made any allowances for that as being a cost to the tenants? Like if I had $100,000, I could like collect interest, or I could go on trips or something. There's no allowances for that?
We've established at municipal board that the entrance fee is for the buying peace of mind by having a life lease. It prevents a landlord from increasing their rents. So they pay, that entrance fee is for a benefit to have a life lease. And it was established at the case management that we're on that it had no value. We came to a settlement on Fred Douglas Place. You abandoned your costs on the entrance fee. So you agreed to that at the municipal board? And then I agreed at that point in time to take off any rent reduction from a secondary fund. And that's how we agreed to settle life leases at the municipal board.
Well, we looked at market rent, but Fred Douglas Place is behind.
We looked at the market rents, we settle at the actual rent, less any contribution, rent reduction from secondary contribution.
Okay.
And that is supposed to be equal at or about market rent, same as other properties where we use actual rents as being market rents.
So your cap rate here now, you've reduced it to 5 3/4. And I guess cap rate is a function of risk. Would this building have the same kind of risk where all the tenants, as you call them, have put down a significant amount of cash? Like, is there a bunch of risk of them all taking off, or like, wouldn't it be a lower risk property?
Not if you treat it as if it was market rent, so that you can't say it's market rents and then all of a sudden use it as if it were a life lease, but it's restrictions. It restricts the landlord. If you're buying this property, the buyer is restricted in the rents. They can never make any profit on this. Because actually page 11, it shows that up to some 50, after some 50, they had to give back to the tenants 25,000.
Right, because it's a non-profit.
Right. So
But aren't we supposed
as
to
a
be
buyer,
looking at
as a buyer, you got absolutely no.
But aren't we supposed to be looking at this as though it's market?
Therefore, that any restrictions and or benefits from being a life lease is to be disregarded.
Okay.
Because if you're buying this as a life lease, you have absolutely no profit to be made. There's zero profit.
No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Gifford?
No questions.
Mr. Rondo?
No questions.
I have none either. So, either party wants some summation?
I don't know, I think we dealt with it.
Actual, you're okay?
Just want to point out that they received 150,000, but they had to give back 25,000 to their tenant, so that in essence, they got 725 for that year. And then we've established at municipal board that there will be no extra value to be given for entrance fees, even though that was an argument with the assessor for years and years. There was an agreement on all the life leases that municipal board for 2012, 2014, without using any extra value for that entrance fee.
But aren't you leaving out the part that as long as the rents are market rent? You're using lower than actual rent.
No, I'm saying after the 25,000, they have to refund back to the tenant.
Okay.
So we agreed not to give any value to entrance fee, even though you're questioning that now. You've done that for 8 years, and all of a sudden you bring it back again? I don't see why you would do that.
All right, let's press on.
Can we take a 2-minute break, please?
Yes. Okay. All right, we'll call the meeting back to order, and we are gonna go to the next one on the docket, which is 360 Osborne Street. So, Mr. Lucky, whenever you're ready.
.360 Osborne Street is roll number 120-200-12000. What we have here is the South Osborne Housing Co-op. It's a non-profit. It was built in 1988, 7 stories, 72 suites, both door parking. Assessments $8,329,000. And this is also a concrete high-rise building. We have 33 one-bedrooms, 38 two-bedrooms, and we agree on the income.
So then it's just cap rate, eh?
Well, that could be a short one. I like it already.
This is a pretty high expense ratio, so we put this building at a lower quality, and 5% cap rate. Ask that you maintain the assessment of $8,329,000. The 2018 was $7,910,000, and that was maintained at the municipal board. So we have some cap rate information and INEs attached. And that's all I have to say on that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. DuPont, questions?
No questions.
Ms. Gifford?
What's the square footage of this? I'm sure you mentioned it, but what's the average square footage of the suites, units?
The overall would be 992 square feet, but that's dividing, that's including hallways and everything. That's dividing the whole
The whole
building
area?
by the number of the suites. I don't have the actual suites size.
Okay.
Mr. Rondo?
None.
None? You had said that it is non-profit,
That's right.
but it's not a life lease, is it?
No,
No, okay.
there would be some sort
A
of
co-op.
token entrance fee.
Yeah.
This is a federal one, isn't it?
Co-ops are,
Somewhere under the federal side.
All right. Mr. DuPont, the floor is yours, sir.
I forgot to give you a rebuttal report on cap rate, which I give to you now, which should be for all properties today, okay?
Thanks, good.
This is rebuttal to the assessors page 5A for this brief. We show 4 comparables on that page, 191 Oak, Talbot, Maxwell, Board. So the page 2 says what the rebuttal is all about. I referred to our precedent in just the board, 1843-1, where the board stated that 4 remaining comparable sufficient concerns were raised by the appellant on 3 of them regarding the purchaser's intention to significantly renovate or alter the structures. The appellant produced evidence from purchasers which makes the board question the use of purchase price and income information. So the property with intention to renovate tend to produce low cap rates. Sale number 1, which is point number 2, is purchase with intent to renovate. That in the questionnaire, which is all in the appendix. And the rent they had on the questionnaire was relatively low rent of $663 for a 1-bedroom. And point number 3 is sale number 2, 394 Talbot, purchase with intent to renovate. Email from Asteroid says they were managed before and after the sales. The property was purchased with intent to renovate. 2016 questionnaire shows rent of $537, $653, and the recent website says totally renovated with rent of $800 and $900, so they raised the rent close to $300 per suite. Number 4, it talks about 285 Maxwell, purchase with intention to renovate. There's an email from the purchaser. It confirms that the renovation for $413,000 with the intention to raise rents over 3 years. That's an email we got in the appendix. And the 2018 questionnaire actually shows the kitchen and bathroom renovation is $412,790. So that it shows the intention to renovate the amount. And then number 5 says the sale number 4, 350 Ward. We have that in our direct evidence in our cap rate 5.13. Point number 6, we said the assessor is burden proof, doesn't show workup or supporting documents, therefore the cap rate should not be considered. Then we have the appendix with all everything that I've said on page 1. So that's my rebuttal.
I thank you. Mr. Lucky, questions?
On your page 9, the top underlined paragraph, it says, the board does not accept that any intention to renovate should disqualify a property sale.
And it continues, the renovation must be a significant financial investment. So therefore they disallowed 3 of your comparables at that hearing. And they're saying that we're not going to disallow each and every one of them, but they did at that point in time.
Where does it say they disallowed 3 of my sales?
It says the next paragraph, the board is compelled to accept the evidence put forward by the appellant, Mr. DuPont's cap rate, because so therefore they used my cap rate. And
Well, it doesn't say that they disallowed my 3 sales.
they disregarded your cap rate comparables, Mr. Lucky.
Where does it say that?
The board is compelled to accept the evidence put forward by the appellant, and they agreed 100% in my cap rates. Underline, it's 46, 74, 6%.
It doesn't say that anywhere. It doesn't say that they disallowed one. And I mean, the cap rate decision is one thing. This is for a 2012 cap rate. But it doesn't say they disallowed my 3. You're interpreting that.
Underline, with 4 remaining comparables, the sufficient concern were raised by the appellant on 3 of the comparables because they had the intention to renovate. Sufficient concerns is meaning it was enough for them to disregard your cap rate and go 100% with mine.
No, you're reading on further. It doesn't say that. Anyway,
Well, yeah,
I mean,
you're
we can't-
nitpicking, what they said they had
We
sufficient.
can't just-
Gentlemen, okay, it's a
We can't
minor,
disallow or
minor
resale
point,
it.
so it's a matter of interpretation, okay? So
Okay.
let's press on.
Are we asking questions?
We are,
No, can we not ask questions on his rebuttal information?
yes, yes. Are you finished, Mr. Lucky,
On the rebuttal.
on the rebuttal?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rondo?
On your page 10, you supplied a municipal board order there. And the cap rate premium of 0.25 be added to all apartment buildings in the city of Winnipeg assessment area, regions of 4 and 7.
North End and West End.
Correct. The one we're dealing with today, is it in the north end?
It doesn't qualify for.
Oh, it doesn't qualify for that. Oh, okay. That's good. That's all I need to know.
Susan, any questions in regards to the rebuttal?
No.
Okay. Mr. Dupont, your presentation.
Page 1 shows a photo. And it shows a suite mix, 33 one bedrooms, 38 two bedrooms. Page 2 shows the aerial photo. And there's no outside garage on this one. Page 3 shows the location. So it's just a bit further north than 400 Osborne. Still relatively close to Winnipeg Transit, so it's still fair location to me, but we agree on rent, so a minor point. Page 6, I changed my cap rate to 5 3/4, and the age group 1975-97 changed to 1980 to 1997, and Altus cap rate 5.75. Page 7, I had the wrong cap rate, I had 5.5, and I was saying 6 on the other page, so it should be 5 3/4, and so this value would be adjusted to 6,810,000.
Which was last year's number. No, 7 million.
Sorry, divided by, what's the cap rate now?
5.75.
We agree? 6,810,000?
Right.
And is that it, Mr. Dupont?
No.
No, I know, okay. Okay.
So the,
Yep.
the rents are shown there, the actual and the vacancy, et cetera. The assessor used 860, which is 1,010 per suite. And line 13, we accept the assessor's effective gross income. So that's not disputed. We stabilize normal way so that we have the actual 2017 for insurance, utilities, and we use the average 2015-2017 for professional fees and 17 to sundry. Line 27 is the repair and maintenance. We have 5 years. We stabilize it at the 5 years, which is 1166 per suite. And the reserve expenditures are shown for 5 years also. And we stabilize at that 5 year, which is T27, so that when we add the two together, it's 1493, which is quite reasonable. It's not actually on the low side. So then we get our expense ratio is 53.7 versus the assessor 50.7. However, ours is site specific, so I believe we should go with our expenses. So the appendix, we can go quickly through the appendix so that it's similar to 400 Osborne. Page 14, same type of statements. It does say co-op on top. It does show total income received as 836, and the total expenses at the bottom is 825. Excessive revenue over expenses 11,000, so they're pretty close to actual expenses. It shows which items we allowed and disallowed, so we disallowed amortization, etc. Interest. Page 15, to have also reserves. We disallowed the hot water tank and we disallowed the roof. So we allowed 33,234 instead of 94,000. That's for the year ending January 2018. For 2017, we allowed all the replacement reserve. Page 16, for 2016, we allowed only 50% of that line, which is painting. Mainly because it's high, painting is a recurring maintenance, but it was high, and so we decided to disallow it. Page 17 is reserves for 2016, 2015, so we disallowed the building envelope for 9880. We disallowed the fireplace and stonework 1700, and the fire protection 4500, and mechanical for 1400. We should have kept that in. It's minor. And page 19 is the reserves for 2015, 2014. So we disallowed exterior siding and fencing 2775 and mechanical 5166. I believe if I had to redo it again, I would allow these small items, make my repair and maintenance higher. I would revisit that for the municipal board for sure if it goes there. So I believe our repair and maintenance is quite reasonable. It should actually be a bit higher. That's my report.
I thank you. Mr. Lucky, questions?
So this is a non-profit group. And on their statements, don't they have to spend what they make? Because they're non-profit. Isn't that how a non-profit works? They have to, their expenses have to be at about their income.
Yeah, and anything excess, they can, I believe, they give back to the co-op members.
So if they make too much, they have to give it back to the members?
Right. Because they don't distribute profit to anybody, because it's not profit.
Right. So the one line item, professional fees 16, is $9,000 typical professional fees? Like, what's involved with this $9,000? Wouldn't a typical apartment owner pay an accountant to do it year-end?
Well, professional fees could be a lot more than just an accountant.
Do you know what they are?
No, they don't give a breakdown, and they never got a breakdown.
And then the line item 28, caretaking, isn't $47,000 a lot of money for a caretaker for a 71-unit building? Like, don't they normally get free rent, and that's $665 a unit, caretaking alone?
I don't see any breakdown of that. And we go with the actual expenses, managed professionally. So it's not an owner is charging or giving themselves wages and stuff like that. These are real expenses. And we stabilize the actual expenses, and all 3 years are in line, 40,000, 43,000, 47,000.
Okay, no further questions?
I thank you. Ms. Gifford?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Rondo, please.
this a federal project or provincial cooperative?
I don't know the laws of co-ops, but I believe that they would.
What type of assistance do they receive from the federal government on this project?
They don't show any assistance in their income.
They also don't show any mortgage costs, do they?
The mortgage cost of page 15 has a mortgage payable.
Yeah, you do have it on your page 14. It says federal assistance, note, okay, note on 14, what was that?
Oh, yeah, federal assistance, note 14,
Yeah.
69,000, which we disallowed.
Oh, why would it be disallowed?
Well,
That's income, isn't it?
we disallow all grants usually. It's not
But
part
it's
of it.
it's income.
We disallow it. We always do. And the assessor also would do the same thing at the municipal board on a site-specific basis. It's not something we ever allow.
Any other assistance they receive from the federal government on it for maintenance and for capital costs?
No, it doesn't show.
No, it doesn't show it.
They get whatever assistance they get from the federal will be shown on the income. We disallow it.
I've got no further questions.
Summary, either party? Mr. Lucky?
He's stuck on his tie.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You're okay?
It's a hazardous job.
It is. Okay, did it pale?
Mr. DuPont, you're
I don't
okay?
have any,
Summation, yes.
Yes.
As far as income, federal assistance, it's not applicable because we both agreed to effective gross income. We're supposed to give it market rents anyways, and it should not be a factor. Thank you.
Okay, let's press on to the next one on the docket. 363 Clare Avenue. Mr. Lucky. Need a mirror?
I'll worry about that after.
They can't see on the
Favorite time.
Don't play with it.
Do we have sister buildings?
We do.
Okay, do the first one.
We have 363 Clare, roll number 12001381000. This is a two-story building. Built in 1954, there's 8 suites and 6 parking stalls. I don't think it's indoor. Would be outdoor parking. We've done this, there's 4 bachelors, 4 one-bedrooms. We've done this on the income approach. Average income $615. Model parameters gives us a value of $613,000. In 2018, the assessment was maintained maintained at $530,000. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. DuPont?
Page 4, your comparables. Subject is 4 bachelors and 4 one-bedrooms, and 50% is bachelor units. Would you agree that none of your comparables have 50% of their suites as bachelors?
That's correct.
And your comparable number 3 has 10 one-bedroom and only 4, so it's quite low. So that all these comparables are superior due to suite mix. Would you agree with that then?
I don't know that they're all superior, but
The suite mix is superior?
their rents are all considerably higher as well, so.
Would you agree then they're not comparable due to suite mix?
The suite mix is different, the rents are all higher. One's at $750, we're using $615, the other's at $710. And $643 and $669, so. Yeah, the suite mixes are different, the rents are different.
That's all questions.
Thank you. Susan?
No, no question.
Yourself?
Have any of the comparables on page 4 been remodeled?
I haven't been in any of them, but none of the effective ages have changed. So I wouldn't say that there's been significant remodeling if there was to any.
You haven't made any of the properties, including this one, right?
I haven't actually been inside of any of the properties today.
Okay.
I've been
Right.
around
Yeah.
the life lease and co-op on Osborne.
Let's go to your cap rate, 5, page 5. Where this is falling into a low rise, correct? Because it's 2-story?
Right.
You're 4.9 on your 20th percentile, 5.3, and you're giving 4.8, which is under the 20 percentile. This building, 1954, would it not fall into the higher by age?
Well, there's a low and a high, so the low is 4,
Yeah,
and the
that's-
high is 7.3. There's percentiles, you're right. This one is at the low end,
You're under the low end.
under the 20th percentile.
Mhm. And it's usually the ones in the 80 percentile, are they not usually the older ones?
I'm not sure.
I'm just wondering how it ended up how did it end up in the lower percentile? What put it there?
Well, it's based on size is one factor. There's age, size,
Yeah.
location. These buildings are very marketable. There's demand. There's a lot of people that could buy them because of the cost. People buy them, they live in them, they rent out the rest. It's an easy investment. So we find as we did it, when we did our cap rate sales, that these little buildings sold for, with really low cap rates. Some are as low as 3%. So,
But what was the mix on the apartments? Have you got a breakdown on that with your sales?
No, I don't have.
It just seems to be, this seems to have a higher number of bachelor units at 50%. I mean, you got 8 units, half of them are.
Right. I haven't been in the building, so I don't know if the bachelors are similar to one bedrooms or whatnot. I don't know, I can't answer that.
questions?
Thank you. Just to follow up, Mr. Lucky, normally a building this age wouldn't have, you know, a cap rate of like 4.8. It wouldn't. So,
These little buildings we
Yeah.
found are selling with really low cap rates.
yeah, yeah. But whether it's applicable to, you know, to the properties, the cap rate like that, I mean, you know, it's sort of questionable. Anyways, Mr. DuPont, the floor is yours, sir.
Can I redirect on that?
Certainly.
Your cap rate 4.8, would you agree that you have the lower cap rates for units under 20, for properties that have under 20 units?
Well, that's what I was saying, smaller buildings, yeah.
And so would you agree that for this age group, it would normally be 5.3%?
I would agree that the cap rate should be 4.8% for this building because of the size.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
but
not
just
gonna
answer my question.
Be
that
hypothetical.
If it were not for the
what
size,
it should be. This is what it is.
would you agree that other properties built 1954 over 20 units would be 5.3%?
Could be, if they're bigger buildings, there'd be less buyers.
So you don't know what your policy is for cap rates?
I know, I told you what the policy is, these small buildings sell with really low cap rates.
Can you say for a fact that the, over 20 units, they are 5.2%?
No, I can't say for a fact, no.
No question.
The floor is yours, sir.
Page 1, photo. 4 bathrooms for 1 bedroom. Page 2 shows the aerial photo and shows some kind of garage on the side. Page 3 shows the location at Osborne, South Osborne again. And our cap rate, we're asking for 6.25 because it's built 1946 to 1959. So page 7, it shows top, built 1954. We have financial statements for both 363 and 367 Clare. So it's combined on top left of the page. So we show the income, potential gross 117,000, that's for both properties, a discount that they had, and so they had 109,000. Financial statements don't show vacancy, so it's included. So we stabilized line 8 at actual received, 109,000. And then we added the laundry and the parking. So we get EGI 112,000 versus the assessor for both properties is 122,074. Then we stabilize, we get an expense ratio of 54.7 versus the assessor 49.3 hours is site specific. We stabilize normal procedure, actual 2017 for some items like insurance, utilities and taxes, and we go 3-year average for certain items like professional fees and office and waste and snow. For line 27 repair and maintenance, we have 5 years. We stabilize at 4 years, excluding the high 2017. We spent 40,000 that year, so we stabilize at 17,689, which is 1,105 this week. So we have a net income, 59,777, 50% share for 360 Clare is 25,488. The other 50% goes to 367 Clare. Divided by the cap rate is 6.25, it's 407, 8.2. Appendix, line 11. It shows that for electrical, we allowed 10% for the electrical, we allowed fire and security 25%. Painting, decorating, that's repair and maintenance, we allowed 25%, we allowed 10% of plumbing and 10% of supplies. And then page 12, it's the other, the rest of the items, and under payroll, they have a miscellaneous interior painting, decorating, and that's for repair maintenance. Also, we allowed, again, 50% of that. Page 14, we disallowed drapes and furniture from the R&M. And actually, we disallowed the window repair, 66,000. Page 16 is at 2015 R&M and financial statements. We did not disallow anything there. Page 18, we did not disallow anything to repair and maintenance. Neither 2013 on page 20. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. DuPont. Mr. Lucky, questions?
I guess I'm wondering about the repair and maintenance of 40,000 in 2017. Is that for both buildings or just one?
That's for both.
So were some of these suites vacant when they renovated them, or is that why the income is, didn't go up in 17?
No, similar income, so
Well, it went up 4,000 every year except for 17. In 17, they did a lot of renovations.
well, we can go through the renovations again.
Well, we have.
No.
We've established
You're
that.
asking questions on that.
The question is, they did $40,000 worth of renovations, and that year, the rent didn't go up, or the income didn't go up. So I'm wondering if there's above average vacancy because they did the renovations that year. Or
There's
you-
no money spent on appliance repair. Flooring and carpeting was 1806, so it was very low. Where they put the money was in electrical, fire and security, some painting, decorating, plumbing,
Flooring was 10,000.
and supplies.
Flooring was 10,000, which you didn't discount. You discounted everything else.
I'm looking at 2017.
That's what I'm looking at.
Where do you see that, what page?
Page 11, right at the bottom, flooring, 10,000.
Okay.
That's 25% of the repair and maintenance. And that didn't get discounted?
No, I did not. In the end, I disallowed 2017 totally. It doesn't matter if it was 10,000 or not in 2017. I disregarded that when they stabilized my repair maintenance.
I guess what I'm getting at, we would be we'd be more similar in income if there wasn't vacant suites for renovations. Would be my question.
There's no indication that they had any vacancy to start with due to renovations.
Well, the income didn't go up.
It doesn't mean vacancy went up.
The income's actually lower in 17 and 16, and it went up 4,000 every year. And RTB increases the income every year.
Potential gross rent was 117,000 and 116 for those years. Vacancy.
I'm looking at the net. The effective gross income for 16 is 112,653, and for 17 it's 112,481, and it went up 4,000 every year. The effective gross income. except for 17. So we don't have the vacancy broken down, but the income's lower, so it has to be higher vacancy.
Maybe they didn't raise the rent, you're just speculating at this point in time.
Oh, I'm just asking, so you don't know. We don't know what the vacancy is.
I have it December 2017 rent roll, and there's actually no vacancy on it.
Where's the rent roll?
I didn't put it as part of my evidence, but I have it here, and it's absolutely no vacancy.
Okay, no further questions.
I thank you. Susan?
No questions.
Marcel?
No.
I have none either. Either party wants summation?
No, I don't.
All right. We'll go on to the sister building, which is 367 Clara. So, Mr. Lucky? Floor is yours.
Sure.
367 Clare is what appears to be the sister building next door. We didn't get a return on this.
You're gonna have to request your burden of proof on this one, right?
I am, yes.
You should deal with that first.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I was, I noted that it was gonna come up, so. So the city is seeking a non-co-op.
Great.
Okay, Mr. Dupont, comments?
Would you agree that you actually received the questionnaires that I had in the appendix, that I have in the appendix for both properties?
There was no return for this property.
There was a return on page 11 of my submission. It says on top 363 and 367 Clare. Did you agree with that?
Where's that?
On page 11 of my submission.
Of this submission?
In the,
Yes.
yeah, I so noted that you had stated that it is combined as one statement,
Right.
okay?
Right.
And for 363 Clare, you did not ask for non-compliance penalty or burden of proof, because you had the information for that one,
Right.
which is exactly the same information you have for this one, a combined statement.
We didn't get a return for 367.
You got a return for both, and you put it in the 363 file, but you did not put
It
anything in
came
the
for,
367 file.
it came to 363. We have thousands of buildings. It says right on the request that they have to do the return for each property. They didn't do it for this one. If they would have sent this to this one as well, then whoever was reviewing this one could look at this and divide it in half.
Okay, we're going to see if there's any questions. Susan, do you have any questions? Marcel?
Could you include the mailer?
I don't have the mailer here.
Nope, I got no questions.
No, I have no questions.
Can I just, another question, on your page 2, you shows the request for information for prior years, you had received it for 2016, 15, 14, is that correct?
It was spotty, we got it some years. We got 16, we didn't get 17, we didn't get 13, we didn't get 11.
And the same information you have for T63 declares that each and every year you show as received.
For 363, Claire?
Right. Under request for information on page 2, you show that was received each and every year.
Right.
So therefore, you receive a combined statement each and every year then.
I'm not disputing that they returned
Okay,
for this.
let's,
Okay.
we're gonna shut down the camera. You gentlemen can leave the room and we'll make a decision.
Okay, I'll do it.
We'll call the meeting back to order. So in regards to 367 Clare, the non-co-op issue, we have decided that it will be denied. So Mr. Lucky, you may proceed with this property. And if you want to state it for the record, so be it. You may present.
Okay. 367 Clare is roll number 120013801000. It's next door to the previous building. It's a 2-story building built in 1954. And there's 8 suites. Four bachelors, 4 one-bedrooms. This is all model, you know, we wouldn't have had actuals. The vacancy of 1.8%, 53.48% expense ratio, and a 4.8 cap, which we've discussed on the other one. The estimated market value rounded is 621,000. Compared to the 18 was maintained at 506,000.
600 and what?
Please, 506.
506. This one's at 621. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. DuPont, any questions?
Your page 3, or page 1. It is built 1954, 8 suites, exactly same square footage as 360 Clare.
They have different land area, but the buildings are the same size.
So the other property has a bigger land area.
Right.
Your page 3. So you have the same suite mix, your 4 bathrooms, 4 one-bedroom, and your rent is 65,226, and for 363 St. Clair, it was 59,086. Why is it 6,000 more? If they're both model driven?
I don't have the model here, so I can't answer
And your expense ratio is now 53.48, and for 363 Clare was 49.29. Can you explain why there's a different expense ratio?
that. No.
So
Well, it would be different quality.
you gave this one a lower quality than 360 Clare?
Well, it could be two things. The quality could be different, or the other one could have been looked at because there was a return. This one couldn't have been looked at because there was no return. So there could be a number of factors.
So you may have looked at the returns and decided to adjust the expense ratio downward for 360 Clare.
It's possible, I don't know what happened.
That's all questions?
Thank you. Susan, any questions?
No questions?
Marcel?
You got parking on this one. Is it the two properties together that have the parking on the east side? Is that correct? East side? On there? And is it enclosed parking?
It looks like there's some sort of, maybe it is that a garage?
Right.
Yeah, it appears to be a garage.
Oh,
it
okay,
is a
so
garage.
then that's why you're,
360.
then,
That's right.
The other one,
you
it's-
come in on
it
the other
said it
side,
was
and they
indoor
both use
parking.
it, correct?
I would
didn't,
believe it's shared by both buildings.
I didn't think it would be indoor parking, but it makes sense that there's a garage.
And they both share it.
I would guess.
And they're combined statements anyway, we just
Yeah.
divide by two. So.
Yeah.
They should be
I'm
merged.
just surprised you didn't have it marked on your sheet, that's all.
Well, the two should be merged, and,
Just in case they want to sell them.
A little hard to sell when you got the parking all in one.
Mm-hmm.
anyway, they have to request, that they be merged.
But then you'd be merging the three, because you'd also have to merge the property. Never mind, I don't know that.
Yeah, if the two were exactly the same ownership and everything, we could merge them. Because there's different characteristics the owner would have to request. But then we could look at site-specific income and expenses when we do our analysis every second year. We merge a lot of properties that are like in this situation. They could still sell them separate.
But would you have added value for parking, for indoor parking like that?
Parking is a feature, for sure.
I noticed on both of them you had 0.
I'd just be guessing. Sure.
Okay. I'm done with my questions.
Thank you. Mr. LaPont, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so the photo on page 1. Page 2 shows that this is the one right on Osborne, the corner, and the sister building is on the right-hand side that has a garage. Then our spreadsheet is the same as what we had with 360 Clare. Anyway, with the actual income and the stabilized repair units, 1106 for suite. And we give it a 50% share and a 6 1/4 cap rate for 078 to 12. And that's our value.
I thank you. Mr. Lucky, questions?
I have no questions.
Susan?
No questions.
Marcel?
No, just that my previous questions will be the same on this property.
Either party wants summation?
No.
Nope.
Okay. 497 Hay Street. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lucky.
Uh, 497 Hay is, roll number 120-1450-7000. We have another two-story building built in 1956. There's 6 suites, 4 outdoor parking. turns, and okay, actually, that should be changed, the front is wrong, it should be 5 units. There should actually be 5 units on page 1. And we have 2 bachelors, 2 1-bedrooms, and 1 2-bedroom. The overall income is $702 per unit. Effective gross income, 392. And model expense and cap rate, I would ask that you maintain 401,000. And in 18 it was 348,000, and that was maintained as well. I have nothing further to add.
Okay, I thank you. Mr. DuPont, questions?
No questions.
Susan, questions?
No questions.
Marcel?
No questions.
No questions. Okay, Mr. DuPont, the floor is yours.
Go through the appendix quickly. To page 11, the 2017 statements from Sussex. We allowed only 10% of the exterior R&M. And then page 13, 2016 statements, we allowed 10% of the miscellaneous interior R&M. We allowed 10% of plumbing, we allowed 10% of supplies, it was a bit higher than other years. We allowed 10% of the landscaping. Page 14, we allowed 10% of miscellaneous interior. Then the other years, we disallowed roof repairs in 2015 at 22,000. At page 17 is 2014, we did not disallow anything, and page 18 is at 2015, we did not disallow anything. So if you go to our first page, the photo, we have the same street mix as the assessor. Page 3 is the aerial photo. Shows a few parking in the back, about 5 parking. Page 3 is the area map. It's how I was born again, near Churchill. Page 6 are cap rates. We're using 6.25 because the building was built 1956. Page 7. Revenue and expense. So we start with the actual received line 8, C85T2. The assessor is a bit higher, 41,292. But then we add the laundry and parking. So line 13, effective gross income. We're only about $400 apart. Nevertheless, ours is site specific. We should go with ours. We stabilized normal way, actual 2017 for insurance, utilities, and taxes, average 3-year average for certain items. And the repair and maintenance, line 27, they shown the 3-year average is 73. We stabilize at the 5-year average, which is lower than the 3-year average, and it's 1138 per suite. We divide by cap rate, 6.25. So the NOI, we have 18,071 versus the assessor 19,256. So we are similar. They're 1,200 higher. So the main issue is the cap rate, but nevertheless, ours is site specific, so I believe we should use our NOI. And that's my report.
Thank you. Mr. Lucky, questions?
No questions.
Susan, questions?
When was it updated, do you know?
Don't know.
Question, thank you.
Marcel?
None?
Summary, either party?
No.
No.
Okay. We'll go to Osborne Street, 576 Osborne.
576 Osborne Street is roll number 12000786000. This is a two-story 1955 building. 11 suites. Assessments, $1,042,000. 2018 was $1,054,000, reduced to $952,000. On page
Reduced to what?
952.
The on page 2, there's a sale shown, and our department verified there's a partner buying out the other partner, so the sworn value would be reasonable. The page 3, the suite mix is 6 one-bedroom, 5 two-bedroom, for a total of 11 units. Our overall income is $808. And using the model parameters, we have a net operating income of $53,139, a cap rate of 5.1, and our value of $1,042,000. That's all I have.
I thank you. Mr. DuPont, questions?
As 2018 appeal, 952, was it appealed municipal board?
I don't have that, I don't know. It could be, I don't know.
No further questions.
Susan, any questions?
No questions.
Marcel, any questions?
Cap rate on this one, you came up with 5.10. 4.9 to 5.3.
Right, this building's bigger than
Yeah.
the other ones that were at 4.8.
Then wouldn't it have been a little higher than 5.10?
No, like I said, these cap rates to me look good. I mean, the owners are telling us they're paying 4.5, 5.5. We're doing our own cap rate studies. We've included some examples. We're looking at appraisals. I just looked at an appraisal with a 4.75 on a property in the north end. So, no, I feel good about our cap rates. Modelers are doing a good job.
Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. DuPont, the floor is yours.
Page 1 shows a photo. Page 2 is your aerial map, shows a few parking in the back. Not sufficient for 11 suites. Page 3 shows you South Osborne and the South Osborne area. So this property built 1955, so on cap rate page 6 at 6.25. Now we have cap rate comparables in our cap rate study, page 3. So the one 1952 at the 6.26, and the the other ones, starting 1966 or 6%. So we have cap rate comparables to support 6.25. The assessors cap rates for 10 units or less, they have the lowest cap rates. 11 to 19 units, they have a little bit higher cap rates, and then they have higher cap rates, 5.3%, for anything 20 suites and over. So this one is a bit larger than other ones that were under 11. So on page 7, so we stabilize it with the actual income received, line 8, 97,000. And then we add the laundry and parking, line 13, we're at 99,700, and the assessors at 104,789. So we believe we should go with the actual rents that we have, site-specific rents. Total expenses, line 31, we're at 47,000 stabilized, and the assessors at 51. We have a lower expense ratio, 47% versus the assessors 49.3. So I believe our stabilized expense is quite reasonable. Our repair and maintenance is stabilized 2014, 2017, which is 1163 per suite. So our net income, 933 is 52,144, which is 1,000 less than the assessor of 53,139. That's mainly cap rate fight. And so we use 6 1/4, so we get 834,309. Since we are site specific, and the main difference is in the rents, actual rent received. We should normally go with that. So that would be my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lucky, questions?
No questions.
Susan, questions?
Any upgrades been done that you know of, you're aware of?
We have 5 years financial statements, and we can go through them if you want. I did disallow certain items, page 11. That 8,800 in plumbing, we allowed only 25%. 2016, we did not disallow anything. It doesn't show any renovations. Page 15, we disallowed a little bit for windows and doors, so no renovation. Page 17, they don't show any renovations, relatively low R&M, 11,000. Page 19, low repair and maintenance, no renovations. So aside from a little bit of plumbing, whatever, there's been no renovation.
Okay. Thank you, that's my questions.
Thank you. Marcel?
On your cap rate study on this one, you're coming up at 6.25.
Yeah.
Your page 3 in your study. Beach, where would that one be? 718 Beach.
Page 71.
No, your page 3 of your cap rate study. Your office study, this one here, for apartments?
Yeah, I don't show the map here. I'm not sure where it is.
Okay. But for this age of building, you only give us one really comparable, don't you, 1952? No other comparables on the cap rates, or? I mean, that one comes in at the 6 1/4, 6.26, but are there any other ones that you have?
No, for that age group, 46, 59, I have only the one comparable at 6.26. The other comparables come in at 6.15 for the next age group, and that is an older age group, should be higher than that. So the fact that it's one age group down and one comparable at 6.25 is supported.
But your age groups, you don't have a lot of comparables in any of their age groups on this part of the study, do you?
I do. 1966, 1974, I have 5 sales.
5 sales,
And for newer properties, I have 3 sales.
yeah. Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Lucky, summary?
No.
Mr. Dupont?
Nope.
Summary? Okay. Let's go on to down the street of 760 Osborne Street. Mr. Lucky, whenever you're ready.
760 Osborne Street is roll number 1200 1350 100. Here we have a 3-story building with 24 suites, 15 parking stalls. Built in 1956. Page 3, we have there's 22 1-bedrooms and 2 2-bedrooms. Our model for overall is 806. Vacancy is model and 49.29% expenses, 5.3 cap rate gives us a value of $2,183,000. Which is, that's a post reference there.
Mr. Lucky?
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Dupont, questions?
No questions.
Susan, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Rondeau?
Good.
Okay. Mr. Dupont, the floor is yours.
You can go to the appendix, page 11, it shows the description page. That shows 19 outdoor parking. Page 12, statements are from Asteroid, so they have the repair maintenance at the bottom. When they have major repairs, they usually put a major repair, you'll see in the other ones, so that we do not disallow anything on that page, no renovation shown. Page 13 is the remainder of the 2017. Page 15 is a 2016 statement, repair and maintenance. The biggest one is the bottom suite repairs, that's what they are spending on the repairs due to turnover, which is quite normal. Page 18 is the 2015 statements. There are no renovations. Suite repairs 8,900 in that case. Page 20, the 2014 statement. There again, we have the suite repairs 11,000, but no major repairs. And page 22, finally, we find the major repairs. 2013, they had a roof done for 80,850, which we disallowed. Page 23, there has professional fees, engineering report, 7,000, which we disallowed. So to page 1, shows the photo of the property. It's built 1956, walk-up. Page 2 shows the aerial photo with the parking in the back. Page 3 shows the map, Osborne area. Page 6 is the cap rate, and we're asking for 6 1/4 because the property's built 1956. Page 7, the spreadsheet. So we use the line 17, page, line 3, the 2017 209,904. Vacancy was about 2%. We stabilized at 2%, and other years are 2.2, 1.9. We added the laundry and the parking, miscellaneous, so we stabilized at 214,000 versus the assessor at 228. So we're 14,000 less, mainly because we're site specific and the assessor has higher rents. Expenses, we stabilized normal way to actual 2017 for a lot of the expenses like insurance, utilities, and taxes. Some average, 3-year average for certain items as usual, and the repair maintenance line 27. We show all the years. We stabilize at the 5-year average, which is 1372 per suite. The 3-year average, which is closer, is higher, 38,771, but we go with the 5-year average, which brings it down. So our expenses, line 31 is 105,906, which is lower than the assessor. My expense ratio is the same. So we're quite reasonable on the expenses. Where we're mainly off is on the rents. So we're doing site-specific rents. So we divide our net income by 6 1/4%. So we get a value of 1,730 versus 2,182 for the assessor. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Lucky.
Just give me a second. Sure. So, actually, I was just looking at this as well. Your only cap rate sale in the pre-46 to 1959 is 210 St. Mary's.
Yes, I went through that. I have one comparable in that age range, and then we have,
Okay, that was the question.
no, there's 5 comparable in the next
Yeah, I
age
have one,
range.
that was the question. That was
Okay.
your only cap rate sale within that age range. And that property at 210 was the one that the owners told us they bought it based on a cap rate of 5.5%. But you disallowed that.
I disallow whatever owners put in their questionnaires.
Right.
Cap rate, because I do my own calculations. That's
So
when I-
you stabilized the property yourself.
Yes, which is the proper way. It's primary evidence for
Sure.
cap rate is the
So
stabilization.
if we go to page 6,
What's the cap rate say?
right,
Oh.
of the cap rate study, 210 St. Mary's, you're stabilizing at 210. You're using repair and maintenance of $332 for a 1952 building.
Yes,
And under the column pro forma, which isn't that the selling agent's, what we call rosy picture of the property? He's using $8,800 R&M, but you disregarded that?
yes. Can I go with site specific?
And then 2015, the actual R&M was $6,300. But you averaged the 3 years,
2 years,
which 2 years?
15, 16.
So you averaged the pro forma
I
at
did not
16.
average pro forma. I used the actual 2 years, 15, 16.
So the 1 year of 16, the repair and maintenance was $959, which is $86 a unit.
It's very low, and they have some renovations because the rents increased tremendously. So we use that's the rent after renovations.
So you stabilize the 80 some odd dollars a unit with the 15 of $6,300 a unit? That's what you averaged?
I averaged 2015, 2016, and I went site specific.
Okay, so you're using $332 a unit R&M for a 1952 building, as we said. Are you looking at that consistently with the subject that you're using $1,300, almost $1,400 for their maintenance?
At the risk of repeating myself, I went site specific with the subject and site specific with the cap rates.
But are these numbers reasonable? $900 to repair and maintenance an 11-unit building?
Those are site specific repair and maintenance.
Okay, no further questions.
Thank you. Susan?
No questions.
Marcel?
No questions.
I have none. Summation either party? No? Okay. Well, Maplewood Avenue is the last one on the docket, 380. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lucky.
Uh, 380 Maplewood is again, roll number 12000816100. We have a two-story building built in 1955. There's 21 suites.
You should read the file number on too.
File number 19-2664. We have returns on page 2. An old sale, except could have been a multi-sale. And on page 3, we have the suite mix has 15 one-bedrooms, 6 two-bedrooms for a total of 21. We have model vacancy. And income and expenses. Our cap rate for this building is 5.3%. And I would ask that you maintain our assessment of $1,412,000.
I thank you, Mr. Lucky. Mr. DuPont, questions?
No questions.
Susan, questions?
No questions.
Marcel?
Nope.
I have none. Mr. DuPont, your presentation.
Actually, our NOI is lower,
Yeah.
so we'll go with yours.
Take the cities.
I know.
I hate when that
Okay,
happens.
okay. Don't you just hate that when it happens?
Mr. DuPont.
Just to go through the appendix to show what work has been done on the place. So page 11, they did some fire and security. We allowed 50% of that. Page 12, they did miscellaneous interior. We allowed 50% of that, but not that large. And then 2016, they did some work, fire security again. We did allowed only 25%. They did plumbing. They did supplies maintenance and did flooring and carpet. We allowed 29%, which is our way of doing it to come to 400 per suite per year, which we believe to be a standard. And they did window and door repair, 84,000. which we disallowed. And then they did some landscape maintenance, which we allowed only 10%. So far they haven't done much to the suite themselves. Page 14, miscellaneous interior, 8,400, we allowed 88, we allowed 50%. Page 15, for 2015, they have miscellaneous exterior, so we allowed 25% of that, and plumbing again, and roofing repairs that we disallowed. And then page 16, we allowed only half the miscellaneous, quarter of the miscellaneous exterior, I believe. And 2014, there was nothing we disallowed. And 2013, there's nothing we disallowed. So it has had some work, mainly structural. Now page 7, you'll see the rents increased, it increased in 2017, because of those type of structural expenses they spent. So we used the higher rents. We end up with lower expenses than the assessor and slightly higher net income. And for the age group 1955, we give it 6.25%, and that gives it a value of $1,263,000, and that's my submission.
I thank you, Mr. Lucky.
I don't have any questions.
Susan?
No question.
Myself?
None.
Summation, neither party? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yes. Very nice.
Let's take
Have a great weekend.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, have a good weekend.
We're gonna shut
Friday.
down the camera anyway, so.
Okay, we are concluded.
We are concluded. Now.